There's comfort in doing things the same way, in sliding on the same boots, and unfolding the same trusted pocket knife you've carried every day. But comfort and staying the same can hold us back. As time moves on, we look to the past and stop seeing hope in tomorrow. Learn from veterans who've been there at maketheconnection.net. There's comfort.
veteran, you get a lot of advice, but wisdom's harder to come by. A lot of people imagine themselves in our shoes, without understanding the weight on our shoulders. The truth is, few can understand the pressure of finding your own way after serving in the military. But few isn't none. You've got support. You can't control the chaos, but you can chart your way through it. Steady yourself. Take a breath. You're not alone. Learn more at maketheconnection.net.
When we're lost, it can take another veteran who's already been through it to show us a new perspective.
Hello, everybody. How is everyone tonight? Can everybody hear? Good? So this is the Haggardly haircut, as described by Valhalla. He didn't want to say anything to be nice, but it is quite something. Hey, Malin, how are you? Hey, Dar. Sarah. What else we have in here? Carol Sue, how are you tonight? We are just awaiting Travis to pop in. And then I gotta, where is the poll? New poll, there we go. Question. Should Hellfish cut the Haggardly hair? All right, what should we have for answers? We'll have damn right. Cut it. Back up, Jose. Lay down. Stay. Listen to your wife. Cut it. Let it grow. Let it grow. Tune of Frozen. Let it go. Polls are dumb. There you guys go. I hope you enjoy the poll. We will check in on it periodically as it goes up, but I think that it's got some pretty good choices for you. I probably should vote myself to get this started. I can't ask you guys to vote if I'm not voting. Let's see how it looks. Go faster, computer. See me? Yes, please. What's that? You good boy? Hey. You want to say hi? Come on. Come on. Good boy. Big hug. Big hug. Good boy. Yeah, there you go. Oh boy. Sit. Get up. Up on the bed. Go. Up. Stay. Good boy. Okay. Back up. 2 steps back. Here we go. That's a laptop. Yeah. Crazy buddy. He is an awesome doggo. Like, I have gotten very lucky to have an awesome kiddo and have an awesome doggo that absolutely make me have a much better life than I have any credit to have. All right, let's see this poll. How's it look? Oh, we don't want to hear double me. Nope, nope, nope. I don't see no poll. Do you guys see a poll? What the heck, StreamYard? Widgets. Here we go. I thought I should start the show. Sorry. My bad. This guy's fault. Not Jose's fault. Not at all. He's a good doggo. Oh, he's high. Look it over here. Yeah, go ahead. Touch. Jose, look over here. Over here, touch. Touch. Hand. Chin. Down. Sit. Stay. This falls down. Let's reset to that. Ooh, the poll's going up. We see damn right cut it. Listen to your wife cut it. Ooh. Those are both not in favor of the shaggy do. One more time so you guys can look at it, see what I would be losing if I have to cut this. I can playfully play with it, tap it, flinger in the back. Things I've never been able to do before. Being in the Army, I always kept it nice and high and tight. So this would be this is the longest it's ever been in my entire life. Even like when I was growing up, I just had the basic bowl cut. What's up, buddy? Back up. Your food's right here. There you go. Good boy. Ooh, we're getting some other votes in. What do we got? We got polls are dumb. Yes, they are. Let it grow. Let it grow. Let it grow. Let it grow. I'll sing for you guys so you guys can truly get the idea of that one. We are voting on this ridiculous haircut. So my barber had a baby. Congratulations, Gino. It's a very good reason to no longer be in the area. And him and his baby mama relocated to start a new life with the little one. He just finished the first phase of fatherhood in his first child. So now his first kid's going off into college, and decided that it would be a good idea to start a second child and start this whole thing all over again because he didn't get enough out of the first time. So he figured, hey, I'm 20 years older now. Let's go for it again. Hey, MJ. Hey, Val. Yeah, I did it. I clicked the widgets and then polls, and then I clicked show on the polls on StreamYard Val. You think my husband never listens to me either? I tell him don't cut it, and he cuts it. Hello, how are you? Molds are back in style. I think I could do that, keep the party in the back. Val, is it really as haggardly as you thought it was? I know you didn't get like a real good look with my hat on all the time, so let's fluff it up for y'all. And this is what I got going on right now. This is what I'm working with. Touche, Val, touche. Sarah, the rat tail was the first thing like I ever got for a haircut when I was like 5 or 6 years old, and I went to the barbershop. I got a rat tail. I was so happy about it. That, and I got like a little lightning bolt on the side of my head because those were cool back then. Dread it. What would I have to do to do that, Val? Just not wash it forever? I just remember a kid doing that, and like they put like honey in their hair. It was like really kind of gross how it like gets to that point. All right, thank you. No. Roll it and don't wash it. I don't think I could do that. I really like. So the funniest part about all this is with my hair. Before this happened, and I had the miscommunication with my wife and knowing not whether to cut it. I would call my barber every 3 to 4 weeks because I hated when my hair touched my ear. As soon as it touched on the side, it absolutely drove me crazy, and I couldn't do it. I was like, nope, I can't. I want to get a cut. I can't deal with this. Ooh, we got Let It Grow is currently ahead in the poll. So make sure you guys vote. Make sure you hit the like and comment. But as I posted today, what I want to share too is like how everything from like just getting a haircut or like going and having like a clean shave or like getting a new shirt, a new outfit, like anytime that you get to go and refresh and revitalize yourself is a chance to, work on your self-care and be able to, take something that may be bothering you or troubling you and turn it around and use it for the positive. So it's, I'm going to take this, if I go in and finally get a cut, I'll be able to look in the mirror afterwards and say, hey, now I feel good. Now I'm, on myself again. And like the self-esteem that, comes from, like, there's one kibble on the floor. He was so excited about it. Sorry. Come on, wait. Sit. Get up. Hey, good boy. And so when you get that refreshing, it's like, it's such a pickup for your self-esteem to be able to have that, the way that you look in the mirror afterwards and you see yourself again, how a simple change in appearance can like drastically boost your self-esteem and your confidence. Like, taking control of personal grooming, like really does provide a powerful sense of, control, and it's like an emotional uplift. And I think, folks don't understand a lot of times the connection between, self-care, your identity, and like resilience. Like if you're out there and you're in a funk and you're like, no, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, one of the first things that you can notice in people when they're really like in their own heads is, is that a person who's always, a fancy dresser? Is that somebody that's always in a button down and slacks, and now all of a sudden they're in a grubby tee and, they look unkempt, that could be a sign that they're going through something. And that's, in the QPR question, persuade, and respond class. That's one of the first things that you let people know when they're first line leaders and they're trying to help coworkers and things like that is, start noticing the small things and you can be able to make an impact better on somebody because you'll notice what they're going through and you can see the small changes that, the big boss won't know. So like when people give a class and things like that, they'll see that, when you're at a lower level with somebody and you talk to somebody daily at work, you're a better person to get this type of training for QPR, like question, persuade, and respond. Let's see if I can throw that up in the what I have for a link for that. If anybody ever interested in the training for that, I am certified to give the class and certify people in it. Just 1 second. Jose, you're okay, boy. Go. I'm good. I'm good. Stay. Good boy. Thank you. All right. I'm going to pull up a link here real quick. And we'll share the link so I'm not doing this by myself. Share my screen. Yes, please. Hold on. Let me see what this is first. New instructor manual. Ooh, 2006 edition. Add to cart, yes. All right. So we're gonna, where is it? There it is. All right, here we go. So we're gonna share this here. So this right here, QPR online gatekeeper training. So I can teach the course either online or I can teach it in person. But here, this, we don't worry about that. It doesn't cost you guys that. I take care of the cost for it because I've already paid for it. Oh, where is my thing? Oh, I got to complete this course soon. 31% through. This is QPR Pathfinder Training, Veteran Military Edition. And so you see here, this is my QPR gatekeeper. They're sharing the. I gotta switch the screen sharing. Hold on one second. So this here is my certificate. Yes, I doxed myself. Everybody knows who I am. It's in the information on the YouTube page, information on the details. But this here is my certificate for QPR gatekeeper instructor. We'll let it grow, still is in the lead. And then let me see what I have up here. Instructor. Here's my instructor stuff. All right, so like I will share again the screen 1 second here. Hey, stay, buddy. You're good. Up on the bed. Always down. Hey, good boy. I know you think I'm just talking to myself because I'm talking to the computer. But I swear there are people here, Jose. There are. I haven't gone completely crazy, bud. I'll let you know if I do, though, okay? Thank you. Share screen. All right, share. So this is the gatekeeper training. The review materials. Digital version of the book, Suicide, The Forever Decision. QPR booklet and card, printable and mobile version. QPR booklet card, Spanish, also included. Downloadable QPR roleplay practice. New interactive practice roleplay for QPR over text message. New interactive post-training self-assessment. New interactive suicide warning signs and recognition practice challenge. Personal certificate with the name and expiration. It shows, how to get students registered online, how to conduct the course, how you're supposed to issue the stuff, and you're not supposed to share the stuff with the people. So this is everything that you have. Let's see if we can throw one of these videos on real quick. Do this one here, the introduction to QPR video. Let's see if this is gonna play. I gotta switch the thing. Hold on. Standby one. Share screen, share the other. Well, all right, check out this video. This is going to be an intro to what QPR is.
Research shows that the odds of surviving a heart attack in a public place are 10 times greater in regions where thousands of ordinary citizens are trained in CPR. It's called bystander rescue. When someone shows signs of experiencing cardiac arrest, the response of nearby friends, family, or coworkers is critical. The effective use of CPR doubles or triples one's chances of surviving a heart attack. Like CPR, QPR is an emergency intervention for someone experiencing a life-threatening crisis. QPR is easy to learn and easy to remember, but it takes courage to overcome our fears about reaching out to help someone who may be considering suicide. Research also shows that where QPR is widely taught, suicide attempts and deaths decrease. Just like CPR, QPR requires quick, bold, and informed action. Because suicide, like heart attacks, remains a rare event, we must train hundreds to save one, thousands to save hundreds, and millions to save thousands. There is an old Welsh saying, "No great misery goes unspoken." When we have a toothache, we tell people. We don't hide our pain. But because of the stigma and taboo around the word suicide, many people considering suicide don't speak plainly about their suffering. They fear our rejection. They fear that if they say something, we will ridicule them or make fun of them. As a result, people thinking about suicide often use indirect language. They hint at what they're thinking of doing. They send us coded messages, and they suffer in silence. Called suicide warning signs, QPR training teaches you how to recognize these warning signs, quickly decode them, and then question the person in an informed and compassionate manner to learn if they are considering suicide. Just as talking about physical pain helps diminish it, talking about suicide with someone willing and able to listen reduces psychological pain almost immediately. Trained QPR gatekeepers are merchants of hope, and hope helps prevent suicide. Millions of people.
They are here in the comments, Munchkin. So we will hold on a second. We will make us big. Go ahead, say hi, Emily.
Hi.
Tell everybody who you got.
I got.
Ooh, Val, come on in. Howdy, howdy. Can you hear me all right? I don't hear you. Stand by one. I think I might have just switched my thing. I got you.
What's going on, man?
Not so much. Just, covering down for Travis, seeing, what people should think. And, I took to heart the Haggardly.
Apparently.
The wife was very thankful that you made that comment. She was like, "See, I'm not the only one."
I'm causing chaos, y'all. I'm causing drama.
Jose, go.
I was gonna say, it looked like Jose was freaking out a little bit. I figured I'd jump on and keep you company for a minute.
Jose, go see mom.
And I got Bingo and Billy and Sadie and Bandit.
Yep, she got the whole Wheeler family.
Is that what that is, Bluey?
Yeah.
Nice.
So she got Bluey and Bandit and the rest. And then
I got a bone to pick with chat real quick. Which one of y'all thought I don't wash my hair? That's ridiculous. Who said that? Wash my hair at least every other day. Goodness.
And Mama say to cut that out, and I asked nobody who side them on to cut that hair, or we did a hair.
Well, I'm on team cut daddy's hair. That's what
Emily's team. Long hair. Long hair, don't
long
care.
Hair? Oh,
Long hair.
fabulous.
I honestly don't know what to do with it. I hate every aspect of it right now. But like I said, my barber is gone. It's very hard to just say, "Hey, anybody, go ahead and cut this."
Well, you were asked.
Long hair. Short hair. Long hair.
Well, it depends. I think we got to do something with it. It's looking kind of
can't
like
just
a
keep it like this.
scarecrow at the moment.
It was kind of weird.
Yeah. It's looking
I
a little
kinda
bit
look
like
like a
a
soccer
scarecrow.
I'm just a normal mom,
You look like a WNBA fan is what you look like right now. I will not stand for it.
I mean, I do drive a Subaru, so.
Hey, you got 2 out of the 3 requirements on lockdown.
Grab Daddy's Sprite.
You were asking how to dread your hair?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
shit.
in
Hold on.
there in the fridge. Thank you, Gummy.
Oh, was it you? No, it's me.
What are I doing?
Spotify. My Spotify just started playing. Sorry. Goodness. So no, when you dread your hair, you just section it out, right? You get your sections, and then you do something called. There's a couple different methods. I did a back comb. So you take it like this, and you just kind of tease it down and it compacts. It starts to knot up. And the other way to do it is called a twist and pull, I think is what they call it. And they basically just take the thing and like pull it this way, put it back together, pull it this way, put it back together, pull it that way, and it makes a bunch of knots that way too. But I've never put any like stuff in my dreads.
Gotcha.
Sounds like a disaster. The first set of dreads I actually did put some wax in, and it was a disaster. They were gross, and I had to cut them off and start over.
So yeah, the reason there's two chats is because there's the vertical and then there's the horizontal. So if anybody's hanging out in the mobile version, come on over to the horizontal version. That's where most people are.
I don't enjoy the horizontal version, vertical version all that much. I think it you have it set up pretty well actually, but I think a lot of times the camera angles get funky on you, and it's just not as easy.
It does, and like especially too with like the background of things, like when you go and look what it does, like
that's not good.
One, but like up a different background. Like I was looking at it earlier because I wanted to do like this one for my background tonight. And
just a big R.
But yeah, I'm just R on that one. So I went with this one. This is actually taken right in Baghdad, over by the Libvic PX. We were waiting over there to go out. That's a convoy right there leaving out the gate. Probably 2007, 2008. I took this picture.
The only time I was in Baghdad was when I got medevaced and I got stuck there for a couple days.
I was Baghdad, 07, 08. We lived at Fob Freedom. Like people went to Freedom Rest. Like it was like a spot. If you didn't want to do your 2-week R&R, you could do like a 4-day pass. In the green zone or whatever? Yeah. Yeah. And so that was where the hospital is, I think, right? Yeah. I was there. The Baghdad ER. Yeah. They had to stitch up the back of my head. That's where we had to go for everything because we lived right there. And there was a time I was in there waiting to get like number 11 of my anthrax shots because like I got all 7 of the regular like series, and then I started getting like every 6 months there are yearly boosters, and I'm like, why do I have to keep getting these shots? I'm like, and like I said, I was on like number 11, and I was like, what are you guys just putting in me? Like, I just don't understand. Mm-hmm. When they were giving us the anthrax or whatever, and everybody was making a big deal out of it, and then all of a sudden we didn't have to get them anymore. So I only got like 1 or 2 of them. No, but I wasn't. I opted out of that real quick. So I was in the Baghdad ER, just sitting there, and one of the nurses is calling an obvious like Arabic name, and there was an Iraqi police right next to me, and like she's like calling the name out, and like she's like walking around, she's like, is this your name? And like he's not answering or anything, and I just look at him, I'm like, Shazmak. I'm like, what's your name in like Arabic? I'm like, how does this lady not know that word? Like it is just easy to learn like a small phrase to be able to say what's your name in Arabic. And I'm like, it seems like it'd be beneficial for her, especially in that sort of position. But I guess I wonder how many Iraqis she actually had to deal with. Well, I mean, in the green zone, you did have, folks that lived there. There was like 2 like 80 apartment complex buildings in there. Oh, wow. And like right outside, where the cross sabers were. Like, have you ever seen the pictures of the image? Yeah, I remember the image. I don't remember where it was or anything. So that was a parade field where like Saddam used to give like these big speeches, and like underneath the cross sabers, there's actually a bunch of helmets that are used for speed bumps, and those helmets were all the ones taken from dead Iranian soldiers. Oh Jesus! Yeah, so Saddam was a real motherfucker, and like he was a real motherfucker. And he took these things and put them there. And even if you look at the bottom of the hands that are holding the cross sabers, there's a bunch of the helmets around the bottom of the hands too. See if I can pull it up to show people. I got it. I got it. You got it? Yeah. All right.
This is what we're talking about, you guys. This was one of Saddam's big statues.
Yeah.
They actually had quite a few of like this type of stuff in Iraq. You'd come into like the city and there'd be like a big statue of something as you're coming in.
Yeah. And you can see here, there's one here. And then on the other side, you can see in the background there a little bit, there's another one. And there's this big, amphitheater here. And that's where he would go. Like he would stand out there and like give the dictator speeches. And the parade field is where his military would march by and give him the, I'm a dictator, pleasure, see what we can do or, what our strength is, just pretend.
I was up in Kirkuk for most of both of my tours, or at least in that area.
We got Warrior.
Was that the air base up there?
I think so. I think it was like
it might be it.
The Fob Warrior.
That sounds about
and
right.
And then because we used to go up there, and then we used to also go to like Erbil a lot.
I wasn't in Erbil. I don't think at all. Actually, I should look. I've got a coin that had like every major city we were in the first deployment, because they used this as like a QRF. So like we were technically based out of Kirkuk, but we never got out of our bags. You know what I mean? And they would just send us everywhere. That's how I got the Big Red 1 deployment patch, because they attached us to the Big Red 1 down in Samara, I think.
Yeah, that's who we took over for.
That was intense. That shit got crazy.
So down in Samara, they had it set up where you could not go through the city unless you had a tank escorting you. You literally could not take a full vehicle Humvees through the city without a tank in front. And then at times when we didn't have that available, they literally would flex us a Kiowa to be our lead vehicle. So
that must have been nice.
It was really awesome because I was the lead truck gunner.
A Kiowa is a real small attack helicopter, for those that don't know.
It's like a little baby bird. Like this one, like
it was
the
real fast.
Special operations uses it, and private contractors will use it a lot. But these things are just they drop about 10 feet above the ground and just bomb through the streets and the alleyways, and then pop up when they have to go over cords or a building, and then come flying right back down. It was really awesome to see and to watch, because we had a general that we were doing protective service for, but he was the general that was for maneuver. So we had to go and talk to all the brigade commanders and battalion commanders to see what assets need to be flexed where.
The Kiowa, like if you're thinking of helicopters in the military, it's like the dirt bike of helicopters. It's real small and maneuverable, and I think it's a 2-person helicopter, and they just load it with rockets and machine guns. It's a pretty cool little helicopter.
Yeah,
we used to. They'd come in. They had a bunch of them out in Hawaii. So when we do like training missions out in Hawaii, they'd be the helicopter of choice. They'd come in and just blast everything apart, and then we'd move in.
It was crazy because like we were in Blackhawks a lot, and like when you go in the Blackhawk, like I'm gonna pull up let's do this here. Add share screen. So I have a Flickr that I put like all my pictures on back in the day. I'm just gonna pull it up and share it so that way we can, you can see the area that I was in and kind of understand like if I was in the same spot you were.
What was the city that Saddam was born in?
Tikrit.
Thank you.
So that's where I was. I was in Tikrit. I was at Fob Danger.
Were you really?
Yeah. So can you see
I've been there once. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So this is Fob Danger.
We were there. I was there once in Tikrit. Actually, I think it was getting some. It was having some issues, so they sent us in for backup, if I remember right.
This is, these idiots on, MySpace trying to add my sister as a friend.
That's the most army thing I've ever heard.
Absolutely. When the boss is gone, putting on his vest.
That's
And then
funny.
this was us and the first ID guys during our RIP tour. So this was the Vic that I took over.
When we were there, I think it was just still HESCO barriers that made up pretty much the entire base, and they were getting blasted pretty good.
These are HESCO barriers here.
Yeah, they're big, giant wire baskets that they just fill with dirt and rock and stuff.
They wanted to do weapons call with AKs and everything, just so we were familiar with it if we needed to.
I wish I still had
the mosque that was on base. This right here is the bombed out palace. This was Uday and the other ones, the brothers' palace.
Kusei?
Yeah. So this is the
those two dudes were evil, y'all. Those two dudes would do horrific shit.
Absolutely. This is where our MP company stayed, but this was attached to a corrections facility. So to crit, they would collect detainees there. It was a short-term facility, and then they would send them down to Baghdad. So one of our platoons lived here and did the corrections mission, and then another platoon would do the escorts of the detainees down to Baghdad. And then our mission was protective service. So we lived in other buildings. Like I lived with this general here, and then this is me walking in the back. This is the guy that was the main contact for the general. He was in charge of our squad for PSD stuff. And then if we were going on the bird, there'd be two of us on the bird with him, and then there'd be two more on the PSD team in the bird behind to make sure like no random majors or stuff like just jumped on and like bothered the boss. And like it was funny because we didn't wear rank on our vests. We at first had just the U.S with the period. And then they wound up yelling at us and saying we couldn't wear that. And then this is the setup we had.
Let us get over shit like that.
This is, we built our own shit. This is my TV. I actually brought it from home because I gave up my apartment before I went on the tour because I was, 20 years old and I was living by myself and I was like, I don't have any place to go. And so I just, sold everything I had and I threw this TV in a Connex and, didn't tell anybody about it. Gave the supply sergeant, a case of beer. And I was like, just keep this on the down low. And when it got to Iraq, the first sergeant was like, why the fuck is there a TV in our Connex?
I bought a guitar with the intention of bringing it and learning to play. My first sergeant, he didn't let me bring it. He was like, there's no room for that, blah, blah, blah. I was like, it's just a guitar, man. And then when we got to Kuwait, this asshole, he walks up to me. He's like, hey, where's your guitar? It's like, you told me you couldn't bring it. He goes, oh, I was just messing with you. You son of a bitch. I was so mad. He used to do shit like that all the time, though. He used to just fuck with us.
Absolutely. Like this right here, perfect example. Somebody falls asleep, you just push it on and take a picture. And then here's a picture from, inside the Black Hawk as we're flying over Fob Danger. I'm sure right here he's reaching down there because somebody probably just nut tapped him.
Say, looked like a detainee for a minute there. I got a picture somewhere of me in the back of the truck of a deuce and a half with two detainees, and they got sandbags over their head.
So this right here was what we thought was a safe, secure training area. There's me taking a leak. And we wound up having a anti-tank landmine placed in our tire tracks 5 minutes after we went down this area and then came back to do it again. It was called Midland Range. And it was just in the middle of like the mountain area. There was a small like combat outpost like maybe half a mile away. And we thought the area was secure because we originally got qualled on 50 cals. And then when we got to the country, we could only use 240s in the city. So
yeah.
We had to
they wouldn't let us use Mark 19s anywhere.
Our Mark 19s were taken from us immediately as we like came into the country.
Mark 19 is it's essentially a machine gun rocket launcher. So it just shoots out 40 millimeter grenades, not rockets, grenades, a machine gun grenade launcher. It shoots out 40 millimeter grenades like doot, 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 like that quick.
Yeah, and it's absolutely awesome. Like for MPs, that's one of our M2 items. Like so, like it's either your 50 cal or a Mark 19 on top of the Humvee, and like when you just let them go, like it's got to rotate like 23 times before it allows it to ignite. So like you're not gonna like just let it go and it's gonna hit something 5 feet in front of you and explode. So it's like it's got to travel a little bit and make the rotations before it will detonate. But it's really such an awesome thing. Like on like
I think it'd reach out and touch somebody too. That thing could shoot like 2,000 meters accurate.
When we had our M4s as a team leader, you would have the 203 and then later on the 302 as a secondary. So you could, be able to launch a couple of the 203 rounds and say hello to folks, especially when we had guys down at Salman Park down in Baghdad. They were like just outside, and Salman Park was like a real shitty area. And like Bob Rustamaya around that place. And these guys were getting hit left and right. And literally they were lobbing, 2 or 3 rounds from the guard tower into the area that was shooting at them. And then everything went quiet.
A 203 is a grenade launcher mounted on the bottom of a rifle. So it's a single shot. You breech load it, boom, and it shoots a 40 millimeter grenade. Same grenade that the Mark 19 shoots.
Here is the Humvee that hit the anti-tank landmine. Here is the tire.
We had a raid on a big village that was giving us issues. So we went in, and it took us a long time to clear it because it was a pretty big village. And our fucking platoon sergeant had us exfil in the same route that we came in on. Mm-hmm. And we went over this culvert. They packed it with something like 100 pounds of TNT. And it literally split the Humvee like a tin can. That lead Humvee got messed up.
Mm-hmm. And so this is when they brought it back. So because we were still in the RIP, first ID MP company was like, oh, we can't come get you. 42nd MP company was like, oh, we don't have the truck signed over to us yet, so we can't come get you. They're like, why don't you guys just stay out there overnight and, hang on, we'll come get you guys tomorrow with a wrecker. And it was like, are you kidding me? And so what we wound up doing is we called up some guys from, the other people that were attached to us. We were attached to HHC, 42nd ID HHC, which is headquarters company. It's like the division, like all your officers that work in the TAC and the DTAC and things like that. They're all part of that company. And we had like the general's son came out to like get us with like a sergeant major, a bunch of like random E7s, some majors and lieutenant colonels, all put together a hodgepodge element to come out and get us. So they came out, got us. We had, the 4 guys that were in the vehicle that got destroyed. We had to get them into other vehicles, and we didn't have enough space to safely drive them back ourselves. And so what we did is we passed them around.
Did I ever tell you the time we got stuck out in like a rice paddy for 3 days because we got all the
No.
Bro, it was miserable. So
those guys, just one thing that left to add is they came out to save us, but they didn't fuel up the trucks. So on the way back to the base, we had to stop in the middle of the road, pull out the fuel canister, the donkey dick, throw it on, and refuel the Humvee for them because they didn't fuel their trucks before they left the base.
We had so that specific situation that I'm talking about.
Yep.
We had gone out on a patrol, right? It was just supposed to be like an 8-hour patrol. And we got 2 of the 3 Humvees stuck in the mud in the rice fields. Because what they do is they just flood a section of the desert. So all of a sudden there's like 2-3 feet of water in it. And the ground out there isn't firm at all when it's flooded like that. So 2 of our 3 Humvees got stuck in it. And we called in, and they ended up sending a wrecker out. The first wrecker they sent out got stuck trying to get to us. Oh, so we had to sleep out there in the middle of this pond, essentially. I've never been so eaten up by mosquitoes. Right, like literally a rice paddy, like a rice field. They'll just take a field, legal tubes. They'll take a field and flood it with the irrigation channels, and then they'll plant rice in it, like you would see in like Korea or whatever. And it was just essentially a pond at that point.
This up here was northern Iraq. This was like Erbil area.
Yeah, that's like the landscape I'm used to in Iraq. That's where like I was staying in this kind of stuff in the hills, not so much just flat desert.
So the general's truck, we didn't have anything up atop, and they were like, "Oh well, it's gonna be a dead giveaway that it's the general's truck because there's no weapon system up there."
Yeah.
So the idiots were like, "Oh, okay." So they started putting a saw up there, and they would have a mop stick hold it in place. And I was like, "That looks even more like guess who's in this one?" Like, I swear, like the stupid shit machine was working overtime to be able to to get us going. But this was all the units that were under we were the division, and then this was the people at that base. I think Brassfield Mora. And then this was our general, and then this is the general that came to cover down for him because our general broke his elbow. Was this like the fields?
Yeah. So this picture here, y'all, you see these straight lines? Those are irrigation ditches. And what they'll do is they'll divert from like the creeks or whatever. And this is how they grow crops in the desert. So they would just divert the water and they would flood one of these whole square sections up here, one of these big square sections, and then they would plant rice in it. And we were driving in the middle of the desert, out in the middle of nowhere, came across this thing, had to get through it, and didn't.
No.
They ended up, it ended up taking 3 days. They were talking about sending a Chinook out to see if they could just lift us out of the mud. That didn't happen. But they ended up having to send patrols to bring us MREs because we weren't prepared for a 3-day stay in the middle of the desert. And it ended up being like 2 or 3 wreckers. I don't remember exactly, daisy chained together to pull us out. Like they were all hooked up to it was nuts. We were all hooked up to like big cables, and they would one at a time pull the Humvees out. It was a mess. I've never been so eaten by mosquitoes in my entire life, you guys. We had the because there was like a nearby village, right, which is who was planting the field, and the
like
little kids. Yeah, the little kids would they would herd the sheep every day. They would go walk the sheep all day long. That was the little kids' jobs. So the kids knew we were there immediately, and they would end up. We talked them into running to town and buying us snacks and sodas and stuff like that. It was kind of funny. We were hanging out with the kids most of the time we were out there. That village didn't want no problems.
Right here, like you can see, like this was when our route turned black on us while we were on it. So we had 2 Apaches come escort us through it.
That's awesome.
This was me with my BCGs.
BCGs are the glasses he's wearing. It stands for birth control glasses because they're military issue and they are absolutely horrendous. Nobody's getting laid wearing those glasses, y'all. Not a single person.
Folks would fall asleep on the flight sometimes.
That's Samara. This tower is in Samara. That was we fought for like a month in Samara.
So that was the Tower of Babylon.
Is that what that tower is?
Yep. So that was when they're trying to reach up to the sky to reach God. Yeah. And then he changed everybody's language so that they couldn't build any higher.
That tower is absolutely huge. And when we got there, they were sniping at us we put a lot of bullets into that tower when we were there. Like a lot.
And this is patrol base Razor that was right in Samara. And right here you can see the wooden shacks. Those are the handmade porta-johns. And these poles in the ground with a half water bottle cut were the urinals.
The pee tubes. Yep. So what they would do, because you can't just pee on the ground, right? It'll be gross and diseases and bugs and stuff. So what they do is they take a big like metal or PVC pipe, run it down into the ground, something like 6 to 10 feet, and then fill it up with gravel and sand. And then you'd pee down the tube and it would go underground. So it wasn't so disgusting. It was still disgusting, but it wasn't so disgusting.
Absolutely. Like you see like the villages as we would fly over.
Scorpion.
The random scorpions that you would find in your boots. You had to tape your boots upside down so that way they wouldn't just get in there on you. So these right here, this was the main gate. And often they would hit the main gate with a VBID, vehicle born IED.
Vehicle born.
They would just
There you go. It just means a
Yeah.
car full with explosives, and they would drive into you and explode. A lot of fun, those things.
This right here is the Apache.
That is by far
Again,
the most insane piece of military weaponry that we have is the Apache helicopter, in my opinion, anyway. They've got a system on it. They call it slave to the pilot, I believe is what it's called. But basically, it's something in the headgear of the pilot. Anywhere he looks, the gun points. So when he's in combat, he has to just look at what he wants to die, and it's dead. It's a really impressive piece of machinery, the Apache helicopter.
Thank you very much for stopping in and hitting that thumbs up while we're going on here. So right here, I was actually up in the turret, and I'm talking to my team leader down in the vehicle, and we were on the other side of the river at first over there, and like I started hearing the rounds hit behind me, and as we're driving this way, they're hitting and they're hitting and they're hitting. I'm like Bill, I'm like they're literally walking their mid on me, and he's like, "Oh, you're fine, Mikey. Just keep your head down a little bit." And like the difference between what you hear outside of the Humvee when you're up in the turret and when you're inside the Humvee with the engine, the AC trying to go, you've got, didn't have the headsets yet. So we had, a couple of hand mics attached to each ear, and you were trying to monitor the radio, the QRF net and the local, net that you're on between the element. And, you really just can't hear shit.
Nothing.
And so this was them literally walking them in and Bill telling me, "Oh, don't worry about it, Mikey. You'll be fine."
Yeah, I'd be a little worried about it.
Yeah. And then we had on Fob Danger, they had what was called IA Island, which is Iraqi Army Island. And that's where they trained all the Iraqi Army recruits into crit.
I think I've been to that place once. We pulled into the parking lot and stayed there for a couple hours for some reason. I don't know why. I was still a private at the time.
This is our little homemade grill.
Shift barbecue. I promise you this, you guys, every fob out there has a homemade barbecue grill somewhere. Every single fob is a forward operating base. So you get stuck in these little shit bases all the time. And every single one of them has a homemade grill that you'd go and buy, goats or sheep or whatever you could find in the local town and bring it back and grill it.
No. And everybody had, a Southern boy that would, be our cook.
Yep. Actually, we had ours was from California, the guy that was always running the grill. Staff Sergeant Bridges.
And then, of course, all of us are out here, enjoying it. And here's the general's, officer aide being a dink and being like, "I'm going to go for a run, guys. You guys can stay here and enjoy, a barbecue once out of your last 8 days, running missions up and down Iraq. But, I'm going to go for a run. I'm not going to hang out with you guys." We left him up at bases because he would be late getting back on the birds, and the general would be like, "Fuck him." So he would have to, schedule convoys with other units to be able to come back down to Chakrit because, like, we would be, up in these other places. And, like, there's this one place where they had these, like, giant, like, bunkers, and then one on the ground, and, like, they had all these, like, weapon caches inside of them. And we were up there, and the base was, like, just probably, like, 10 of those bunkers, and he wanted to go around and take pictures. And all of a sudden, we were wheels up on the birds. And we looked, and the general just gave the yep. We would just leave him random places. I think that was Mosul.
I've been to Mosul. We got into some shit in Mosul too.
This right here, if you notice, there is a flash going on up here. And that is because these people in the Apache are taking pictures of us while we're taking pictures of them. So actually nobody is pulling security. So while you think you're safer because you got those guys up there, you're not. You're still, you're responsible for your safety, and end of story, And this is my 240.
You can't really do a whole lot until you get shot at anyway. That was the messed up part, right? Is you basically couldn't do anything until you were getting shot at. So what was the point? Like, yeah, we see these guys. They look like they're going to shoot at us. Well, we still got to wait. All right.
No. And this is, wanted to take a picture of it so I could say, yeah, this is what I just have to sit and do and smell. I couldn't take a picture of it when it was, the the poop that you had to, go ahead and burn. But when I was doing boxes, I was like, that's a reasonable one I can send home to, to show folks.
Yeah,
But the burn
talking
pits,
about those,
you burned everything, like air conditioners, refrigerators, like anything
everything.
that wasn't bolted down got put in a burn pit eventually.
Everything. He was talking earlier. He pointed out those wooden homemade porta potties. Well, the waste in those porta potties were deposited in like a 55-gallon barrel that was cut to size, and then once they got full enough, somebody was tasked with dragging them out, filling it full of diesel fuel, and lighting it on fire and stirring it until it was mostly ash, and then replaced back in the porta potty. That was a detail that nobody wanted. It sucked.
Yeah, it was just wild, like going through it. And like for me, I was the low man on the team because I was like the newly promoted specialist. And then like we would get random packages. Like this is from a church group, and it's like, we're praying for you. And it's like, here's a dude all bloody, and you know that he's the bad guy because he's frowning, and you're the happy guy.
We would get those all the time.
And it was like who was in charge of this kid at the church group that was like, yeah, this is a really good idea. Good drawing, little dude. Like, this is appropriate. And
was that a rookie job? Darth Vader asks. I was in a pretty good unit, so for the most part, everybody had a turn doing it because it really sucked. Nobody wanted to do that. You smelled horrible for the rest of the day, until you could wash your uniform, which could have been weeks. But they made sure we took turns.
This right here I thought was funny. There was a guy washing himself in the potable water. So that means this is drinking water?
Yeah, potable water means it's drinkable, but that is clearly not the case anymore.
No. And this right here is the Air Force EOD coming out. And I actually posted this on the Twitch and asked, there's an EOD captain that's got like a shit ton of followers on Twitter. And I asked, what type of thing was this? I got a private message a day later from a guy that said, hey, I was in that unit. Was that 2005 outside of this base? And he was like, I'm like, yes, it was. And so he was actually in this unit that came out and did this, search and detonation for us.
That's cool.
So out here on the other side of it, on the other side of the bridge, there was a little kid. And the day before, we threw him a stuffed animal. Like it was just a little something like this. We threw it down to him. And he was down there. And the next day we went out, same thing. We did like a hasty LZ so the general could drop in the Blackhawks. And he could go around the area, check it out. They kept bombing this bridge that went over to an oil refinery, but they kept destroying the bridge so you couldn't get over to it to be able to use it. So we were trying to figure out the best places to put like a little, outpost or to put like guard towers or guard shacks so that way we could stop the people from destroying the bridge so often. So the general flew out there those 2 days. And after the second day, we're driving back, the same way we went there and the same way we've gone the day before. And this little kid from the day before is literally standing on the street like this, like trying to wave us down. And my team leader looks at him and he goes, Mikey, who's that? And I said, it's the kid from yesterday. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, absolutely the kid from yesterday. And sure enough, we stopped the vehicle. Bill gets out. Bill doesn't speak any Arabic. The kid doesn't speak any English. Kid just grabs Bill by the hand, goes up the side of the road, and starts dusting off something. It's a 155 round buried in the ground with a bunch of wires coming out the back. So we grab the kid. We throw him in the back seat.
A 155 round is a 155 millimeter mortar, artillery round, rather. It's a giant. They would find them from like the Soviets and stuff, and even our own from back in the day. And they would rig them up to explode when we drove past them. And the 155 usually left a big hole.
This was one buried with a bunch of wires on it. And when we called the Air Force guys, once they were done playing Madden, they came out and, got it set up and took care of it. We were out there for like 3 hours before they showed up. And we were like, hey, you guys have a busy day today? Like, no, we were just playing some games. It's like, you guys are the worst. But it's like, you got to, respect the play, You got to get your head right if this is your job to go out there and get blown up all the time. I
guess.
And so they came out with their little robot and they went out there and they start digging. And not only is it one 155 round, they find a second. and then a third, and then a fourth. And
Those are the worst kind.
It was exact intervals that we were doing in our convoy at the time. It was 100, 25, 50. And so they had watched us the day before drive through, and they were targeting to hit us on the way this time. And if we had gone any further up the street, there was a couple of saw blades that if we had run over, it would have connected, and that would have detonated.
That's how they did most of the IEDs. They would rig up all these explosives. Sometimes they would be daisy chained, so they would just connect 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row, and they'd have little pressure switches. They just have little pieces of metal that when you ran over them, the metal would connect, it would contact, and that was what triggered the explosion.
And this right here, what you see with the fire, that was them telling the town that we were coming into the city.
That makes sense.
And like
signal fires.
It was crazy. Like all of a sudden, like as we're driving in, you see a guy run over and just light a big thing up.
Tire.
And so this was into crit. Like at first they were like dropping shit down on us. So like anytime you went underneath an overpass, you would like get down inside the truck so that way they couldn't drop something into the Humvee. And then we couldn't wear the yellow like glasses, or like the rose ones that helped you see better in sandstorms, because they started putting copper wire across these, and a gunner got decapitated driving through there.
That's crazy.
Well, yeah, they did all sorts of shit. We would change something, then they would change something.
Yeah,
this was IA Island here.
That was how it went. We would adapt to their techniques, and then they would adapt their techniques to our new adaptations. It was just over and over and over again.
There's your pea pods there.
Yep, there's the urinals. Piss tubes is what we call them.
And so, like, you see the other gunners had like a shield in front. So because of this little thing right here, this was for our Blue Force tracker, and we were the only ones that had a Blue Force tracker in the convoy. So because of this little satellite for it, I couldn't have the shield in front of my gun. So I was fully exposed in the front, and up here, the top of the Humvee, which I thought on my first tour was bulletproof and safe, and learned real quick on the second tour that it was not.
Blue Force tracker, it's just the radar system, and then it's got like a laptop in the front seat passenger, and it tracks all of the units in the country, and you can tell where everybody else was on GPS. It's a cool system.
This is the Kiowa.
That's
the whole reason for the search and me going on the pictures was to find this.
Yeah, just a little 2-person Kiowa helicopter that was super fast and gnarly. They'd fly real low to the ground. It was really cool.
Well, you can see here how there's a bar and there's things attached where guys could have,
Yeah, they would like, not so much us, but like the special elite units, like the Green Berets and the badasses. They would sit on that little rotor or runner, 2 on each side, 3 on each side, and they'd come into whatever mission they were doing. The badasses would do that, not the regular guys.
Yeah. If you had something go wrong, you had like a beacon on you, and you would push this button on the beacon. And the way it was explained in Kuwait to us was these guys with beards, guys like me, will come out of nowhere and get you. And it was like, dude, like, I don't think you're special forces. But then again, it was like, I talked to the dude like 5 minutes, and like, he absolutely was. He was crazy.
Go back up to that turret picture you were showing. Somebody in chat was saying that it doesn't look comfy. Let me explain something to you about what you're actually doing here. There's a strap, about a 2-inch strap that's connected to each side of the turret, and that's what you're actually sitting on. There's not a seat in there. You're sitting on like a 2-inch strap. And
you're sitting on a seatbelt.
Yeah, and you've got the ability to spin 360 degrees, but you're on your feet, and you've got that little strap to sit on when you sit down. It's not comfortable at all. Being in the turret really sucks.
And like, so you go up and down, and like the whole tour, like for me, like that's really what like was fucking up my back was the up and down. And then as you can see, like we welded additional additional things up here. Like these, shields weren't originally made for the Humvee. They were taken from the graveyard down in Kuwait. They have like a tank graveyard, and we took stuff from down there, and they called it hillbilly armor because we were ripping from one truck to give to another.
In 2002, 2003, when I first went there, we didn't have up armor Humvees yet. They had the cargo Humvees, so it was a 2-person Humvee with canvas sides and roof, and then like a bed in the back of the Humvee. And that's what we did a convoy from Kuwait all the way up to Kirkuk in the back of that thing with like 9 dudes in one of those trucks. And that's how we made armor. We went and stole armor from wherever we could find it, lined the whole bottom of it with sandbags, and attached those big sheets of thick metal onto the sides of the thing.
Yep. And then so this right here, this was the worst thing that, like, for my first tour that happened. Right in here is one of the buildings that the other PTSD guys lived in. And I was over visiting them that day. And this right here was a V-bid that hit a Iraqi police bus that was doing shift change. And they were going around to the different, guard posts and towers and stuff that were around the city of Tikrit. Because the city, the highway went right through the base. And so they hit, that area. It actually blew up the entire bus. There was, people, parts everywhere. The flesh, just awful. And you can see us down here in the picture. There were other guys that were taking that picture, but we had to stand guard there for the next 8 hours while they got something constructed to be able to fill the hole that was now in the baseline. And because this was the building that our guys lived in, we were right there. So they got, you're first on scene. So you're stuck there until relieved. And it was fucking terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this was that bombed out pallets that I was talking about. They literally I want to see if I
Is that the one that had the golden
we have
toilets
pictures
in
from
it?
inside of that thing, but
was that the one that had the golden toilets in it? Yeah.
And this is something else wild.
Sandstorm.
Yeah, this is a sandstorm coming in. And it literally would come in like this, and you can't see shit. This is a decent one where you can actually see. But most
that
of
was
them
actually
you
a pretty
see,
mild
a couple
sandstorm.
feet in front of you.
We had one come in on us, and it was red.
This is when Toby Keith came.
Oh, that's cool. The sandstorm was red for whatever reason, and we were out in the middle of, it might have been Missoula, I think, and we literally had to just grab a hold of the guy in front of us and walk back to base because we couldn't see a damn thing. You're breathing all that shit in the whole time too. Oh my God, it was terrible.
This was down in Samara too. And this is what I meant. Shit would happen. So what you would do is you would have a marker so you could write stuff down for a 9-line on your window, so that way you had all the information, where you were.
Oh, that's smart.
And the information about the person. So we had the grease marker, or grease pen, whatever it was, to write stuff on the window, so we could call it in and remember the information. This is a camel spider. They are literally the size of your fist.
They're gnarly as hell.
This one, I believe that the Sharko was a cool thing to throw up all the time.
Yeah. Is that an Abrams? No. What is
you
that?
Have the inside of whatever this little tank is.
Yeah, it's not an Abram. What is it? Is that the mobile artillery thing that's not technically a tank?
Probably. This was a base where a striker platoon was at.
That's not a striker, though.
No. But that platoon was stationed there. They had at the front gate was a big striker that just went back and forth all day. And this is how the Iraqi army would travel.
Yep, that's every Iraqi army or Iraqi police truck in the country is that Nissan. Every single one of them. Did you get any pictures of the
So
Golden
this was the
Mosque
bridge that
in
kept
Missoula?
getting blown up. You could see they recently rebuilt stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I will probably this right here was where the little kid stopped us. This was the other side of it from the air. Yep. So when you went north, Iraqi army had red berets, but when you went north, the Kurds wore a green beret.
We liked the Kurds, y'all. The Kurds were the closest thing to an actual fighting force that was an ally.
Yes. And this is actually the Iranian border. And this is how they cooked our meal. We shot the shit out of some SpongeBob.
Apparently. Is that the power plant up there? That picture with the water? Is that it was up like 2.
This one up here?
A little more up. One more up. Oh, maybe you went to the next page. There was a power plant somewhere in the up north that was right by a river lake thing, and it reminded me of that picture. Is that just oil seeping out of the ground in that picture? That picture's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's literally oil like coming out of the ground, and then there was like one side of the fence is Iraq, the other side of the fence is Iran.
That's crazy. Yeah, the oil would just seep out of the ground like that,
you
y'all.
see like things like this.
You get a low spot. It'd just be like instead of a puddle, it'd be a puddle of oil.
And this would always be on the bolos. It would be like, look out for an orange and white taxi. That's like,
so that orange and white car is a taxi, and every taxi in the country looks exactly like it, and they're everywhere. They would always be on the bolo list, be on the lookout. Be like, oh, the orange and white taxi is a possible V bid. It's like every other car.
And like sometimes when we would fly over these things here, there would be like 1 or 2 people out there, and we would throw soccer balls to the kids.
Nice.
And like this little dude, we threw a soccer ball out to him one day, and like the gunner and the Blackhawk would be the one throwing it, and like he's talking to the crew chief is talking to the pilots, and he's like, fly over by that little dude, I want to throw it towards him. And like they like signal the kid down on the ground, they're like, are you ready for this? Are you ready? And the kid's like, yeah, throw it to me. And then they literally throw out the Blackhawk, and this kid just starts sprinting, and he runs and runs and runs, and he gets to it, and he bicycle kicks the thing backwards. And I was like, that kid absolutely deserved that soccer ball.
Yeah.
Like we gave that to the right person.
So this is like most of the villages that we would go into were like this. Where's that picture at?
But the small ones like this?
Yeah. So most of the villages we would go into is like this, and they would basically build like a compound.
This one down here, that's Samara.
I was gonna say I know exactly where that building is. That building's like 6 stories tall, I think. That's like right in the bazaar in Samara, the market. Yeah, I know exactly where that shit is.
Because you should remember this too, then.
Yeah, it was a pretty big area actually. It was like 6 big city blocks, and it was where all the sellers would go. So everybody would go there every day to buy whatever they were buying. Those are the more upscale village buildings where they've got multiple floors and stuff.
This right here, I think you are.
That's the bazaar, ain't it?
Yeah, and there's the mosque.
Wow.
And this is where they would shoot at us from all the time. They would be in the alleyways right around here. And one day we're getting shot at, and I can hear it. and like I'm hearing it getting closer and closer, and then I'm hearing it actually being shot at me, and I'm like, why the fuck am I getting shot at? Like I'm facing, the left, and I'm hearing it get, shooting at me, and like, why the fuck is somebody shooting at me and nobody shooting back? And the idiot behind me was facing the wrong way. And like my teammate was yelling at me, stay disciplined, staying in your lane. I'm like, fucking A.
Dude, Samara was like in 03, 04. We went in there. I believe it was Operation Baton Rouge. I think that's what it was called. And it was it was intense. The first 3 days was nothing but a gunfight. We cleared the whole city. We cleared every single building in the city in Samara. We were attached to the Big Red 1, and we had strikers and Abrams.
So this is where we took our docs, our medics, and we went.
Is that the hospital in Samara?
We go to your little. There was.
Oh my God. That hospital is.
And the kids, like I said, the kids saved my life. So like, I can't be mad at any of the kids.
That hospital in Samara is one of the biggest nightmares I have. They wanted us to sleep in this, like the entryway in the hospital because we're in there and we're fucking shit up. So like there's a lot of people going to the hospital and most of them aren't alive anymore. And we got to the hospital after like 3 days of fighting, and they wanted us to secure the hospital. And they ended up, the doctors weren't happy with us, obviously. And they wanted us to sleep in this like front foyer lobby area. And I remember we had to like sweep out all the gore out of it. And they like sprinkled lye all over this room. And that was where we were supposed to sleep. And like, there's no way I was sleeping in that room. I slept in the back of the truck.
So Bakuba was actually where that little kid saved my life.
Bakuba?
Yeah. I think it was Fob Summerall.
I don't remember.
This right here, a mortar round hit the sergeant major's truck and didn't detonate. This is just a random stray cat. And they would always be like, don't feed the cats, don't feed the animals. Everyone did.
Everyone did.
This is my Horde golf swing. I do not know how to play golf. But I got so angry, I just started throwing them into the Tigris. This is what I was talking about. This is the inside of the Brothers Palace. This is actually really awesome. Like, not a lot of people got this going here.
That's crazy.
So 4th ID was the first ones into crit. So that's why their unit motto was steadfast and loyal. So it says, fuck steadfast, fuck loyal. And then we custed on all you newbies, stop that shit.
What is that 4th ID with that unit patch right there?
Yes. This is
how
a missile drops
4
into.
lieutenants pointing north.
This is the WMD shop. But this is what it looks like when a missile drops into a place like this. That's the precision that the military has when they hit a target.
Yeah, that place is blown up.
That's right there, the entry hole. There's the front picture of the Kiowa, so you can actually see like how tiny it is. And there's a little what's that called? The Gatling gun.
They shoot real fast.
There's a monkey I took
Give me a
prisoner.
minute. I'm gonna go. I need a cigarette. I'll be back.
Absolutely. And definitely, thank you, Val, for, jumping on this. I know it's not easy to, to go through old pictures like this and shit. And, it's definitely wild to see. Right here, we got Dunkin' Donuts. They had sent something out to us that said, from Starbucks, saying the Starbucks employee program sent us out a, the employees could, instead of getting their coffee for the month, they put it out there and sent it to us instead in Iraq and Kuwait. So I sent a letter to Dunkies and said, hey, Starbucks sent a bunch of coffee. I hate that shit. Can you guys send something? And they actually did. And so they sent this and started a program where they would send 24 pounds of coffee out to a deployed soldier once a month. So they started doing this program because we wrote to them and said, hey, could you guys come check this out? So we took this picture to send back to them as a thank you. Inside the Division Tactical, this was the mass flag, the corrupt Commonwealth. This is a aftermath of a mortar round hitting a Connex. This is all the 50 states. And this is what we have to do. We have to stand out there while the general was in his meetings. It's very boring. And like Saddam had little prayers and little sayings with his name on them everywhere in all these palaces. He actually had his name, the initials Sada Husa on every building in Tikrit on that base. Because the guy was just a real mofo. But the architecture there was just phenomenal. It was really, really cool. Look at this here, the arms going into each other, that's wild. The giant staircase, right here, the warrior on a horse. This is what Val was talking about. When you would go into a city, they would have these enormous war statues that you would see, and this is this observatory here where some of the guys would put together a giant sand table when they would do an air assault operation where they're gonna come out of the Blackhawks and drop down 30, 40 guys to do an assault on one of those small towns like we were showing you earlier. And this is the lady that worked for us up in Tikrit. This is our vehicle on the base to drive the general in. This was my turn to wear the general's helmet. The guys that worked with us, they drew a picture of our Humvee, and the detail that they drew it in with everything, the gas canister, the slots in the back, the windows, the handles, it was just kind of crazy. Once we left the palace place, we went to another base, Spiker, and this is how we lived. We lived 10 of us in a tent. It was just, a little tent, and we had Humvees. So when we left Fob Danger and we went to Spiker, what we actually did was we took all the stuff from there. We took the beds and everything like that, and we brought them over. And so, other guys were sleeping on cots and things like that. We actually brought the bunks from Danger over. Same thing with the TV, and we brought a giant satellite dish that we put on top of one of the bunkers. We had these bunkers that you would go into in case the base is getting mortared. And we put the satellite on top of that and rearranged it until we were able to get the AFN stations. So we would watch the German Armed Forces Network channel, and we'd hear all these ads for Edelweiss, every couple hours. Then we started doing these little tabs on the side to be all right, this is 10 times that we've seen the Edelweiss commercial. This is how many times that we see the Sergeant Major of the European Command come on and tell everybody to wear their seatbelts and all the crazy PSAs that they had on. And then the Stone Cold Towel. OT was very proud of that. Again, like I said, this is the horse gate, and it would get hit with the vehicle-borne IEDs. This right here is the cross saver that we're talking about. And there's the giant hand going in the bottom. And then all of the little things on the ground are helmets. And then I'll go back to the album list real quick so I can show you guys. But all this is available on my Flickr. Albums. So my second tour, I was in Baghdad. And so we actually got to go over there to the this is Pat the Patriot. He was our little good luck charm on the tour. He was with us the entire time, and he's actually now in the Patriots Hall of Fame with patches from our unit to be able to have a legacy and, kind of show, this was a good luck charm that some local soldiers brought with them. And then it's got the pictures of us overseas in Iraq and the patches that we wore on our uniforms. And it's in the Patriots Hall of Fame. This is a Boom Boom Taka Boom energy drink. It is not for pregnants, but is absolutely wonderful. We would do case races with them. There's like 20 in a case you buy for $20. And my gunner and I had a deal that I would supply all the Boom Booms, and I would always buy them as long as he would give me one whenever I wanted one. So I would see him like across the base, and I would just go, Dickie, Boom Boom. And he would go, yes, Sergeant Geary, and come back and have to give me a Boom Boom. Yeah, he didn't enjoy that after a while. This is the pool that we had on Fob Freedom. I actually got banned from the pool because they fixed this little line on it down here. And when there was wet cement, I put my squad call sign in there, Scorpion, and they got real butthurt about that. And they wanted me to sand it down so it wouldn't be in the cement. So the guys from the motor pool, because I was friends with them, gave me like the industrial sander. I sanded it down in 10 minutes. And the mayor of the Fob was really butthurt about it. And, didn't want me to be able to, do anything, and wanted to like give me an Article 15 and like take money away from me and things like that. And they were like, no, we're not going to do that. Sorry, Geary. He fixed the error that he had. He can't go to the pool for 2 weeks. So, where is the Cross Sabers? There again, the stupid taxis, the Bolo. Come on, Cross Sabers, where are you? This is all Baghdad. Here we go. These are the Cross Sabers here. As you can see, these are all the helmets. Welcome back, Val. I just said earlier, if you ever need to break or need a piece out, like, absolutely understand. I'll go for a few more minutes. But at 9 I'm gonna call it quits. These are the helmets here, Val, on the Cross Sabers.
That's crazy.
And like the helmets were all at the bottom of each one, and they did, like I said, there was like a speed bump that went across the bottom of it as well. This is that bridge that the Blackwater guys had that shit happen to them.
Where's that at? Is that Missoula?
This was Fob Freedom. Baghdad, the 14th July Bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Baghdad right outside the green zone.
Okay.
It's just called the 14th July Bridge because of what happened.
I don't remember that. Might have been after my time, actually.
It's like the guys from Blackwater like opened fire when they had no right reason to, and then
There was the
people in town killed back, I think, and then hung them from the bridge, or was it the other way around? That they hung from the bridge and then Blackwater like retaliated.
I think it was that. I think it was that one.
Yeah.
There was a bridge very similar to that I remember getting attacked on. I thought it was in Missoula. We had a guy on a bridge very similar to that. Somebody shot an RPG down the bridge as we're walking across the top of it.
Wow.
And the RPG like skipped down the bridge. It didn't explode, but it hit one kid in the ankle and messed him up real bad. He went home.
Yikes.
Yeah, we got real lucky that they must not have pulled the pin out of it or whatever. I thought it was in Missoula. But there's the Golden Mosque. Where's that at? Are you sure that's not Missoula?
No, I think this is all Baghdad.
Okay.
If I remember.
Sure.
But yeah, because you said we did a lot like in that area. I just want to show one last one that we did because we did patrols outside of Dr. Alawi's house. And like you said too, there's always the homemade grills.
Yep, always
on the bases.
Those were the
and
good
the dogs
ones. When you got a
absolutely
55-gallon drum that when you could cut a 55-gallon drum in half. Those were the good grills. You could really get some grilling on those bad boys.
Yep.
Missoula is pretty far up north. Yes, Linda.
The
McDonald's
the
in
McDonald's
Baghdad.
in Kuwait.
In Kuwait. There was one in Baghdad when I was there,
Yep.
when I got medevac there.
And this is the inside of that parade field.
That's wild.
And then inside of that that building, everything torn apart and looted. And then this was one of the bases inside the green zone too that had the 2 Saddam heads with a big sign that says "Don't take a picture." This is my birthday when I got hit with a cake and thrown in the pool.
This is
this is the kind of hold on.
This is the
Mosque,
big
not
mosque
clicking
in
this.
Missoula
There we go.
that they it was under construction when we were there. It's an impressive building.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was really impressive.
That's wild.
They were still working on it when we were there the first time or whenever. And somewhere there's a very similar bridge to that one somewhere running along this. We got attacked on when we were on foot, and it was not fun. I lost a knife that day because I was running and it fell out of my pocket and I wasn't about to go back for it.
Yeah, the being on foot was such a different thing than being in the truck. Like for us, we had like the embitters with the big ass whip antenna.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
we had
did a
those
lot of
for, like
field patrols.
as soon as you got like maybe like a quarter mile away from the Humvees, just no communication at all. Like, no, it's great that I had this thing, but I can't hear anybody because we had to do around Alawi's house.
This is what it looked like when I was there. This is what I remember it looking like. That had to have been 03 to 05. This picture had to have been. These big ass cranes. I couldn't figure out how they built these cranes because like they don't have machinery like that. This thing, it was wild.
Yeah, that would not be a job that I would ever want to be involved in.
Hell no. Hell no.
Being way up there. But yeah, no, definitely, thank you for jumping in tonight. I would have been sitting there talking to myself for the hour. Travis was, was stuck on mission tonight, so he couldn't make it back in time. But he did have a new episode drop tonight at 8:00. So after you leave here, make sure you give Oscar Mike Radio a peek and see the interview that he was able to put out this week.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah.
And we do W.A.R. We Are Resilient every week on Thursdays. If anybody ever wants to come on and share a story of their resilience, you don't have to be a veteran to experience it. And anything that you need mental health wise, feel free to reach out, send a message. I've worked with people that are and are not veterans. I am peer support certified through DBSA, depression, bipolar, and substance abuse organization. So if anybody ever needs any help, feel free to send me a message. I can give you resources, or I can find you the resource that you're looking for. There's, therapy that's out there. There's free therapy that's out there. It may only be for an hour, but it's at least a start. So don't ever be afraid to go talk to somebody because you don't feel right. Because for me, I just got back with my PTSD doctor. I took 8 different docs before I found one that I was comfortable enough with to be honest, to actually open up and say everything that was going on in my life. To say, that I was going through shit where I was abusing pain meds, when I was going through shit where, I wanted to, take my life and things like that. And so it took me a while to actually find a doctor I could say that to. And so when I did, and I had her for a while, and she saw me, go through the change, she saw me, get killed from a fentanyl pill, and she saw me get clean afterwards. Like, it was crazy that then after not seeing her for like 90 days or so, when I moved from a North Shore town to, south of Boston, all of a sudden they were like, oh no, you can't see that doctor anymore. You got to go see the social worker instead. And I was like, oh, that's bullshit. And I just stopped going for like 9 months. And then the other day I sent a message and said, hey, I'll reach out and see if I can talk to her again. And I got to talk to somebody else this time. And they said, yeah, we got you, back in her care. And so next week I get to go back and, reestablish that. Because, the wife was always told me, you're better when you have that resource, that outlet to get shit off. So therapy is a good thing. It's not always, just for people that are cuckoo crazy. Like, if you just need a place to vent, if you just need somebody that's not in your inner circle to be able to say shit to, or to get a release from, it's good to have.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And again, thank you very much, Val, for jumping on. Do you have anything that's come in the works that you want to shout?
Yeah, I've got a few things coming up. Obviously tomorrow's Friday. We'll be on FNL. Short one Baker tomorrow night because he's still going to be laid up. Saturday, I think I'm going to do a week 2 update on the shrimp tank. Hell, give me a second.
Yep. Are you doing painting with Eva?
We don't have one scheduled, but I am getting. We're going to make one soon because I agree we need a paint stream soon. On the 2nd, I'll be on Down Home Network. And if you guys aren't familiar with that channel, go check it out. They're hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Best show in the 5 counties. Next weekend on the 8th, I'm joining Megan Fox and Flux and Mrs. Flux and Connor, Vice Baby, in their D&D campaign that's going to be on Megan Fox's channel. And I think sometime next week, I'm going to schedule the Axolotl fundraiser stream for Valkyrie because she wants an axolotl and it's an expensive setup. So we're going to hopefully raise some money for that. Get Valkyrie an axolotl. Oh, and also on Monday at 1:00, me and Flux are going to do a melting point stream, which is a stream because Flux is an Army vet too. Mm-hmm. And we used to do them back in the day, and we haven't done one in forever. So we're gonna start that back up on Monday at 1 p.m. on both of our channels, me and Flux.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to get back into the streaming thing, y'all. I know I was kind of negligent there for about 8 months, but I'm gonna try to put forth some effort for y'all. Try to keep on the tubes.
Absolutely. Everybody needs a break too. If you gotta, take a step back, unwind, reset, get things going again. Absolutely, people understand, or at least they should understand.
I think most people do. They still like me,
People still give you wrenches, And folks, you know, it is Valhalla's birthday today, so you know, make sure you tell him a happy birthday.
Every day. Oh.
All right, guys. Do you guys want a mental health breathing exercise to close out, or what would you guys like for the exit video? Throw some suggestions in the comments. Do you want a make the connection PSA, or do you want a breathing exercise, or do you want the 3-minute thing that I created?
You know, let's do the breathing exercise.
The breathing exercise? Got you.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second to change it out here. Remove that. You got a preference between teal or like a salmon color?
Surprise me. Whatever gets that haircut color. That's the color I want.
Gotcha. The wife is going to be so happy that people said to get a cut. She might cry tears of joy. All right, again, thank
Love
you.
y'all. Appreciate y'all.
For joining us. And we'll see you guys later.
Later, y'all.
We are resilient.